They call her Big Mama, the ageless woman of Egibo village. But beneath her kind smile lay a heart consumed by envy. No one in the village dared to question her, for every misfortune seems to trace back to her shadow. In the peaceful village of Egibo, in Osun State, Nigeria, lived a woman everyone revered. Her name was Madam Rose, but popularly called Big Mama because of her shape and size. She had lived for so long that people believed she was older than the village itself. She never aged, and the street where she lived was named after her as a mark of respect. Being the first person to build a house and start living on that street, she was reverend, and all matters that concerns the street was brought to her to delegate on. Big Mama, good morning ma. Big Mama, good morning ma, villagers would say as they passed by her little bungalow. Good morning my children, she would reply, sitting in front of her store where she sold pepper soup and agidi. Though the villagers adored her, they see her as a reputable old woman. But Big Mama is not what they think she is. Big Mama hid a dark secret. Beneath her kind smile and wise advice was a jealous heart. She despised everyone who dared to be more prosperous than her. She had no husband nor children. Therefore, no woman around her is meant to get married or bear children. No one is allowed to build a house bigger than hers or even drive a finer car without drawing her worth. Hidden in her house was an ancient idol she inherited from her forefathers. Whenever someone in the village prospered, she would visit the idol to bring them down and make them very poor like a church rat. She always sat at her small store to monitor people passing by. If she sees you with a big car or wearing a beautiful clothes, it's a problem. If you pass without greeting her, it's also a big problem. Villagers love to buy her pepper soup and agidi a lot, not knowing it was prepared with lots of evil charm to cause their downfall. One day, Bisi, a very beautiful and cheerful young woman, announced her engagement to Emma, a doctor living in the UK. The news spread like wildfire. I am getting married, Bisi beamed as she handed out her wedding invitation cards. When Bisi gave her best friend Bola a card, Bola asked, "Have you given Big Mama one?" Bisi frowned. No, something about her doesn't sit right with me. My spirits don't really like nor accept her. Ah, Bisi, who does anything in this village without letting Big Mama know? You must invite her, oh, she's an elder. She will bless your union, Bola urged. Reluctantly, Bisi visited Big Mama the next morning with the invitation card. Ah, my daughter, congratulations, oh, congratulations, Big Mama exclaimed with a broad smile as she received the card. But as soon as Bisi left, her face darkened. Emma, she muttered, staring at the name on the card. She hurried to her idol, placed the card before it and whispered, Make sure this wedding never happens. Destroy him abroad, she said to the idols. As she stepped out of the idol room, she laughed. BC, you want to get married while I'm still here? Come and get married now. Let me see how you will get married. A week before the wedding, Ima prepared to travel to Nigeria. At the airport, immigration officers stopped him. Open your bag, they said to him. Ima was confused but complied. He opened his bag and the officials searched thoroughly, only to find packet of white neatly packed substance inside. Ima was shocked. This is not mine. Oh Jesus, oh God. I am a medical doctor, not a criminal. I don't know how this thing got into my bag, Ima pleaded. But his cries fell on deaf ears. He was arrested, tried, and thrown into prison. Back in Egibo, Bisi waited anxiously for Ima's arrival. She waited and waited without any message from him. 2 days before the wedding, Ima's parents called her with the devastating news. There and then, she heard the saddest news of her life. Ima is in prison, my daughter. The wedding is cancelled, Ima's mother told her over the phone. Bisi's world shattered. She cried uncontrollably, locking herself indoors. The news circulated that there won't be a wedding anymore. While some villagers sympathized with her, others, like Big Mama, were so happy and whispered, maybe it is not meant to be. That serves her right. She was feeling like a superstar before. Big Mama visited Bisi that day, pretending to be concerned. My daughter, I am so sorry. Take this pepper soup and agidi to console yourself, she said sweetly. Unknown to Bisi, the pepper soup is charmed to make her never get suitors again. Bisi accepted the food, but trusting her instincts, she threw the food away as soon as Big Mama left. As Big Mama was on her way home from Bisi's house, she sighted a very beautiful house under construction. She stopped and asked the laborers who the owner of the project was, and they told her. She immediately packed sand from the building site and rushed home to her idols. After a week, it was announced that the owner of the building project had died after losing a contract worth millions. Villagers began to get worried. Nobody was doing well financially aside Big Mama. No good news in the village, only bad news everywhere. What could be wrong? What is going on? They kept asking each other. Out of shame, Bisi left Egibo and moved to a nearby village. There, she began attending church and visiting prayer mountains, praying for God's intervention over her fiancé's case. One day, during prayers, a prophet approached her. You have been cursed by someone you know, he said. Who, sir? Bisi asked, trembling. Who is Madame Rose to you? The prophet asked. Bisi was a bit confused. Then she remembered that Big Mama's name was Madame Rose. Bisi gasped. Oh, Big Mama, you mean? She is the elder from my street, back at the former village where I stayed. Dear viewers, before we continue the story, if you are enjoying this story, Please support our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button. Also, like this video, drop a comment and share, for it will help us get YouTube recommendations to other viewers. Thanks so much and God bless. The prophet revealed Big Mama's evil deeds and how she had been the one behind Bisi's predicament. He assured Bisi that Ima would be freed if she fasted and prayed for 21 days. He also warned her, "You must return to Egibo to save others from her grip, for they are all in great danger." Big Mama needs to be exposed before it is too late. Bisi agreed and commenced her fasting and prayer. Meanwhile, as the year was about to end, villagers in Egibo planned a grand street carnival. Big Mama was informed and she insisted on being in charge of cooking the jollof rice for the youth. People tried to persuade her not to cook but rest because she is too old to be stressed. But she insisted. "It is my street. Let me handle it," she argued. Unknown to the villagers, she planned to poison the jollof rice with charms to steal their destinies. On the 21st day of Bisi's fast, same day with the carnival, the prophet rushed to her. "Something terrible is about to happen in Egibo. We must go now," the prophet said. Back at Egibo, Big Mama and other women have started cooking. Big Mama warned that the jollof rice should be served strictly to the youth of the village. She had secretly poured her charm into the big pot of rice. It was evening already, and villagers were already gathering for the party. The party kick-started and everyone were having fun. Bisi and the prophet arrived at the carnival just as the food was being served. The prophet climbed onto the stage and called for silence. "Silence, everyone! Stop eating! Bring the cook here!" Villagers murmured in confusion. "What is happening here? Who is this man? Have we come to marry or pray?" they asked each other. Big Mama was immediately called from the kitchen, her face pale with fear. The prophet began to pray, and Big Mama suddenly started shaking violently. "Confess! Confess now!" the prophet commanded. I poisoned the food. I wanted to destroy the youth. Yes, I poisoned the food," she screamed, falling to her knees. Gasps filled the air. The villagers brought the jollof rice to her. "Eat it!" they all shouted. "No, I can't! I can't!" she cried. The prophet continued praying and speaking in tongues. And Big Mama confessed everything: her idols, her jealousy, and the curses she has placed on the villagers. That night, the carnival turned into a prayer vigil. The villagers prayed fervently, breaking Big Mama's curses. The next morning, news spread. Big Mama had died in her sleep. Some rejoiced, while others felt she deserved to suffer more. Her burial was planned by the village committee, and she was buried in her small compound. Weeks later, Ima was released from prison and reunited with Bisi. They got married in a very beautiful ceremony, and prosperity returned to the village of Egibo. People began to get married and bear children. The street was no longer cursed, but became the pride of the village, with new houses, happy families, and thriving businesses. Bisi smiled as she walked down the street one day, now renamed Freedom Avenue. "This is what we have always deserved," she said. And so, the village of Egibo thrived, free from the shadow of Big Mama forever. Envy and wickedness may strive for a time, but truth and justice will always prevail. What is built on evil will crumble, while the innocent and the righteous will find redemption. We have come to the end of the story. My name is Kachi. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have learned one or two moral lessons from it. Bye for now. See you in my next video. God bless you.